Welcome to my presentation. So let's see. So for my theory, I chose to do Piaget's cognitive development. Piaget's theory suggests that children move through the 4 different stages of cognitive development. Each of these stages are based on the understanding of how children acquire knowledge and understand the nature of intelligence. So the key points, I just put the 4 stages, the first stage being the sensory motor stage, age birth to 2 years, the pre-operational stage, which is 2 to 7 years, concrete operational stage, which is 7 to 11 years, and the formal operation stage, which is age 12 and up. So for implications, basically the implications is going to be what is happening in each of these stages. So the sensory motor stage, the infant knows the world through their movements and sensations. Children can learn this through their basic actions such as sucking, grasping, listening, or looking. For pre-operational, children begin to think symbolically and tend to be egocentric. This is when children begin to engage in symbolic play, and then they're learning to manipulate symbols, such as they're like increasing in playing and pretending. Concrete operational is beginning to think logically about concrete events. So basically they're understanding the concept of conservation. The example that I kind of gave for this was that a children's going to understand that a small wide glass is basically is going to have the same amount of liquid as a tall skinny glass. Formal operation is abstract thoughts are starting to emerge. At this age, they're beginning to think more about moral, ethical, or social issues that are going to require that abstract thinking. So for challenges, one of the challenges of this theory could be the lack of support of information for children with developmental delays. Those who do have developmental delays, they may not come close to falling within those 4 stages. And so another challenge that could come into play is going to be your cultural differences. This is pretty much something that can always be a challenge in a classroom or wherever it may be. Then for strengths, so education was one of them. This wasn't necessarily Piaget's motive for this theory or his purpose, but it still plays a huge role in the educational industry. There's many educational programs that are now built upon the belief that children should be taught at the level for which they're developmentally prepared for. The other strength this theory contributes to is play. This mostly comes from the pre-operational stage that we had talked about, ages 2 to 7. Basically, Piaget viewed play as a necessary part to children's development, and the theory argued that as a child develops or matures, the environment they are in and the play that they take part in should encourage further cognitive and language development. So for weaknesses, one of the weaknesses of this theory is the criticism that it was that the theory had received based off of there was concerns that it was mainly based off of Piaget's 3 children. And so it was making it difficult for them to generalize his results with like a larger population. The other weakness that I had put in there was that many people believe that he was underestimating children, and this is something that I actually talk about here in a few minutes. So when it came to supporting play, again, this was mostly supported in his pre-operational stage of theory. So basically I kind of just broke it down into 2 categories with pretend and symbolic play, although they're very similar and they can be done together. Pretend play is going to generally be including like the role play, such as like a mom or something. And then it's very loosely structured, and it can also include an object, so like a mom holding a baby or whatever. Symbolic play is more so the child using that object to represent another object. So then like a child using a banana as a telephone, that's going to be symbolic. Yes. So then classroom observation, because there's so many children in the lab class that I'm in that are ages from birth to 2, I see a lot of the different things within this stage. Obviously, like the sucking and things like that. More so like a comfort thing, like all of them want chewies. That's a huge thing. Pre-operational stage. Again, this was something that I see a lot of, even though the children are typically older than, or not older than 2, the majority of them, I mean, there's one who's older than 2. This is really plays a big part of where that weakness of underestimating comes into play. There's many children who are under the age of 2 who are taking, who are doing things within the pre-operational stage. So that's kind of where that came into play. So overall, this information can be used in my professional career for knowing the order of the stages. Again, although there was underestimating that was seen, the stages still go in order, and that's something that we can use, and that the cognitive development, or like the whole cognitive development theory, is still reliable, even though some kids may be advanced than what he says. And then these were my references. Thanks for watching.